dimensions, infinite power, your own galaxy, please!
These three probably should have won. They possessed godlike abilities that practically makes them unstoppable, but for some reason, one guy always came along with a perfect counter to their abilities. But even with that counter, they still should have been able to overcome it. Let's give some background on these three characters I'm referring to, and I'm sure you'll be able to come to your own conclusion on how they could have easily taken a W.
Oh, Gravity Falls, it is good to be back! Name's Bill Cipher, and I take it you're some kind of living ventriloquist dummy?
Bill Cipher is often referred to as a dream demon, a title that indicates his primary method of influence and manipulation. As a dream demon, Bill possesses the extraordinary ability to invade and control the dreams and subconscious minds of others. This power allows him to access people's deepest fears, desires, and memories, making him an extraordinarily dangerous and malevolent force. When Bill enters a person's mind, he can manipulate the dream environment to create vivid and often terrifying scenarios. He can shape these dreams to his will, bending the rules of reality to confuse, frighten, and deceive his targets. This ability to manipulate dreams means that Bill can exploit a person's subconscious mind, making them question their sanity and doubt their perception. When within his original nightmare realm, he's even more powerful. It is a chaotic, surreal, and twisted dimension that mirrors Bill's bizarre and twisted nature. Imagine a place where the laws of physics, logic, and reality don't apply. It's like a never-ending fever dream where the wildest, most unsettling parts of imagination come to life. Random, distorted objects from various places and times, like a giant clock, disembodied eyes, and melting shapes, all jumbled together in a nonsensical manner. The inhabitants of this realm are equally as strange and disturbing. They are distorted creatures that defy categorization, some looking like nightmarish versions of animals, while others are completely alien. Mindless drones or minions serve Bill without question, taking on strange geometric shapes or unsettling, ever-changing forms. However, it's worth noting that despite all this chaos, Bill has very little control over our reality and is unable to bring the weirdness of his realm into our own. If he could, that would grant him true power, making him a reality-bending god that no one can control. This is why he enacts his plan to bring Weirdmageddon to Earth, which marks the merging of the human world with Bill's chaotic dimension. Safe to say that after a series of events take place over the course of the series, Bill is finally able to achieve his dream. However, there's one huge problem.
This might be more complicated than I thought.
I think I broke something.
Walk it off!
Weirdness magnetism. Weirdness magnetism is a strange phenomenon that prevents any weirdness from leaving Gravity Falls, and somehow this energy is powerful enough to prevent this reality-destroying entity from leaving the town to influence everything outside of it. Obviously, the only way to truly escape is hidden deep away in Fort Pine's mind, but in another twist of fate, he somehow can't use his powers to forcefully extract the information. He needs to do a handshake for some reason. Is this strange limitation because of the weirdness magnetism? This isn't the only time where Bill's nigh-on infinite power was kinda useless. He didn't use it to instantly kill Dipper and Mabel, and instead turned into a giant monster to chase them. It's also likely that Bill has no form of time manipulation, as he was unable to see his own demise coming.
I control space, matter, and now that that dumb baby's out of the way, time itself, time itself, time itself, time itself.
Like seriously, it's kind of embarrassing how a reality-bending dream demon who reached the peak of his power could not escape the mind of an alcoholic. If Bill really tried, they could have been way more creative and ruthless with their powers in order to get what they wanted. But because of their stupid ego, they're now lost to time and space, never to return.
Very impressive. A heroic speech. Tell me, did you just come up with that or have you been practicing? However, you must have realized that there's a slight problem with your plan. Or did you forget that I'm here?
In a certain magical index, there's a scientific experiment aimed at creating a bunch of clones known as the Sisters from the blood of Mikoto Misaka, a superpowered Esper. The sisters are almost identical to Misaka, but with a more robotic personality. Despite their intended purpose, they started to develop their own individual traits and formed bonds with each other. But the purpose of their creation wasn't meant to see if they developed personalities or not. The idea was to use these clones to level up another Esper. Accelerator, the highest ranked level 5 Esper in Academy City. His rank is level 5, which is the highest rank an Esper can achieve, and within his rank, he is considered the most powerful. Accelerator's primary ability is known as Vector Control. This power allows him to manipulate vectors, which are quantities defined by magnitude and direction, such as force, velocity, and acceleration. He uses this primarily to create a barrier that reflects any attack, no matter their speed and power. However, he can also control the vectors of objects he touches, allowing him to alter the direction and speed of matter at a subatomic level. However, despite this, he wanted more power. That's why he took part in the Sisters project, so he could achieve a rank of level 6, a theoretical level of power that goes beyond the established limitations of the Esper ranking system. He was led to believe that by participating in an experiment which involved killing 20,000 clones of Mikoto Misaka, he could accumulate enough combat experience and data to evolve from a level 5 Esper to a level 6. However, when he was only halfway across, someone he'd never expect will lead to his downfall.
What?
Imagine Breaker, housed in the right hand of Kamijo Toma, can negate any supernatural power, whether it's magic, Esper abilities, or divine phenomena. This ability, however, is limited to his right hand, making him as vulnerable as any other human in a physical world. When Toma intervenes to save a Misaka clone from being killed by Accelerator, he initially appears to be outmatched, given Accelerator's overwhelming power to manipulate vectors and redirect any attack. However, Accelerator is unfamiliar with anything that can counter his abilities, and Toma's Imagine Breaker does just that, negating Accelerator's powers on contact. This unexpected challenge catches Accelerator off guard, as he is used to his powers instilling fear and ensuring his invincibility. Accelerator's overconfidence and reliance on his powers prove to be his downfall, as Toma forces him into close combat. Even in the moments when Accelerator seemed to get the upper hand, a couple of windmills somehow contributed to his defeat, distracting him enough for Toma to get one last blow. Let's be honest with ourselves, if Accelerator didn't let his ego get to his head, Toma would be cooked from the start.
私を攻撃できた者もかつて誰一人としていない。Wonder of you.
Calamity is a mysterious and unavoidable force that brings misfortune and disaster to those who pursue it or its user. It's like a chain reaction of bad luck and accidents that seem to happen without any direct cause, making it feel that the universe itself is conspiring against you. Wonder of You has the ability called Calamity that activates whenever someone attempts to approach or harm Toru. This stand power triggers a series of unfortunate events that escalate the closer the person gets. These events can be anything from tripping and falling to severe accidents or even death. The idea is that the more determined you are to go after Toru or Wonder of You, the more intense and unavoidable the calamities become. It's like a supernatural defense mechanism that makes direct conflict nearly impossible. Nobody can avoid it, and nobody can escape it, except one man, or rather, Stand. Soft and Wet Go Beyond is an evolved form of Josuke Higashikata Stand, Soft and Wet. This upgraded version introduces a special ability that allows Josuke to create bubbles that can go beyond the conventional understanding of his powers. Unlike regular bubbles that can steal properties or aspects from objects or people, these bubbles exist in a state that transcends reality itself. They are invisible, intangible, and can phase through anything. They are made of lines that are so thin and spin so fast that they no longer exist in our world. Calamity as inflicted by Wonder Review relies on the natural laws and events of the universe to bring about misfortune. Since Soft and White Copion's bubbles exist outside these natural laws, they aren't affected by the causal chain of calamity. In essence, these bubbles operate on a higher plane of existence that calamity cannot touch or influence. When Josuke uses these bubbles, he can effectively bypass the protective barrier of calamity that Wonder Review generates. This allows him to attack and reach Toru without the bubbles being hindered by a sequence of unfortunate events that would normally occur. That's the thing, the bubbles are immune to the calamities, not Josuke himself. In fact, he almost dies several times within this battle, and if it weren't for the help of Paisley Park, he and everyone else would have perished. If Toru and Wonder Review had really tried to win and stopped sitting around, JoJolion would have ended in seconds. So, if it weren't for overinflated egos and a tiny bit of plot convenience, these villains would have definitely taken a W.